Well, good afternoon. This is Blu Laker, and this is the Cobra USA show. Cobra, the original program by Ronald Reagan, was created in 1985. Now, it's interesting that we're in a discussion right now on how we're going to repeal Obamacare. And the GOP just today has said that they don't have enough votes to carry it. Well, we can go back to the drawing board, or we can actually implement a program that's already been in existence and make some amendments to it that fit the needs of the country. In the meantime, however, people will have coverage. Now, I want to ask you, what's more important? Hemming and hawing, or actually taking some action that is going to work and satisfy most of the people, even if it's only temporary? When I say temporary, again, I have to remind you that this was a law that was created by Ronald Reagan in 1985 and has been used for continuation of insurance programs throughout America. As a matter of fact, they spent a tremendous amount of time in putting that bill together. It's only, the law itself is only 48 pages long. And so anybody could read that. You see, it's not 10,000 pages. And we're asking you to read it before we enact it. Oh, I'm sorry, it's already enacted, so you don't have to enact it. You just need to read it and to see if you agree. See if something is better than nothing. See if reducing the deficit is very important, reducing the cost of insurance as well. Now, again, Cobra is the original program. King Cobra is a modification or amendment to Cobra to continue with the insurance that you currently have. And it's very important that our legislators understand that we do have a program that can replace Obamacare today. That's right, today. Why? Because, again, Cobra is the law and has been since 1985. If you don't understand what it does, well, then that's a little different program. But it allows for the continuation of your current medical program, regardless of whether or not it's Obamacare or some other program. And that's whether you are either voluntarily dismissed, you quit, or if you have been fired. It allows you to continue coverage for up to 18 months. But why is that important? Well, it's important from this point of view. That gives Congress up to 18 months to implement a program that will be satisfactory and meet the needs of the majority, the maximum majority of Americans possible. And there's alternatives to those who may not be covered under existing law by subsidies or age or whatever the problem is. Yes, there are answers. Are they easy answers? Well, not necessarily. But can they be done? Yes. And can we reduce the cost of health care here in America? Absolutely. We don't need to waste our legislative time in trying to recreate a new wheel. We already have one, and it's worked well since 1985. So when you hear people say, oh, it's dead, the GOP plan is dead, perhaps the way it was spoken, perhaps there needs to be adjustment in order to make it work. Perhaps we have neglected one group or another. Those are workable. Compromise, yes, there may be some compromises that have to take place. But the most important thing is to be able to provide the best possible coverage for America and for Americans. That's right. Donald Trump has said, we need to make America first again. We need to make America great again. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had the best health care program in the world? And is it possible? Yes, it's possible. It's possible, but only if we use our common sense. Oh, I understand there's intellectuals out there that, oh, for gosh sake, they can tell you they're an encyclopedia of information if you talk to them. But you know what? Sometimes they don't use common sense. And that's what we have to do today. We have to look at this thing in a subjective way so that we can make it work. And Donald Trump has also said that he would be our voice. Well, he cannot be our voice unless he hears it. So, if you think you want a good health program, then I advise you to look at the Cobra program, and I would advise you to know exactly what the facts are regarding King Cobra. I'll give you an example for right now. Cobra does handle pre-existing conditions and catastrophic events. Cobra does handle pre-existing and catastrophic events. King Cobra, on the other hand, does not. You have to be a member of King Cobra for over a year for pre-existing conditions to kick in. Oh my goodness. Well, nothing's perfect. And in the meantime, Congress has the ability to make the changes that will help the programs along. Oh, by the way, King Cobra is much lower. The deductibles are much lower. And for doctors administering the program, there are certain benefits, like tax credits, for example, for having them work with the program. Working with the program is a little bit different than you may think. It doesn't mean that we're going to bring people to their office, which they can do. No, it means that they're going to be like any of the other services that are performed here in the United States, whether it's with the military, the fire department, or any of the other agencies that work for government in the states or in the country. And that is that there's training programs that they have to go to make sure that they're updated with the latest technologies and information. Oh, they call them retreats. Retreats, where you gain information. Well, for doctors, there's going to be a change. That change is going to be that they also have to go through training programs. They have to meet with their peers, and more importantly, they have to give or contribute to the welfare, the health welfare of the country. That's right, the health welfare of the country, where they're going to be required to give a certain amount of time every year to care for people of lower means. Well, how's that going to work? Well, we're not going to take too much time today to discuss it, because if King Cobra fails to come into existence, we don't need to worry about it, do we? We must move forward, not backwards. We can't really take privileges away from the people that deserve it. And we have to make sure that we have adequate doctors and paramedics to handle the circumstances. What I've just described to you allows us to do that. That's right, it allows us to do it. We can do it without cost, And there are benefits to all the doctors who are going to be required to participate. And my understanding is there's about 250,000 doctors in the United States. I believe it's 248,000 practicing doctors in the United States. Now there's 330 million people in the United States who all need care from one time to another. The good part about that, of the 330 million, is a lot of them are in good health already. So when we look at the numbers, we have to make sure that we're calculating the needs of the people that are sick, that need attention. Yes, there's a formula to do that, and the statistical information is available, but we must apply it. And we can't go off on a tangent, a political tangent that doesn't allow us to get anything done. Why is it that the entire Democratic Party is opposed to anything and everything that the Trump administration is attempting to do? Why are they trying to take us back? Why aren't they working towards the goodwill and fellowship of the American citizen? Are they a separate group? Only 535 representative Congress. Can we be held hostage by a minority party? I don't think so. This is not good for us to be in such a divisive situation where we have party against party that's going along party lines. However, we saw and have seen in the last few days that even members of the Republican Party are not particularly satisfied with the plan that has been put forth by GOP program. But there's ways to get that corrected. And the best way to do it is to do it with something that's existing. And again, I repeat, Cobra is the law. Now, what part of the law don't you understand? It's enforceable. And what does it do? It guarantees continued coverage with the insurance program that you have. Oh, and do you have to pay? Of course you have to pay. Are they giving gasoline away free down the street? No. Are they giving food away for free? Well, sure. Maybe in some of the Salvation Armies and other places. But for the most part, we have to pay in order to get the things that we need. Insurance is one of them. Does it mean we have to pay extremely high cost? No. It means we have to find out why the costs are so high. Now, when I say that, is it possible that the medical industry is operating almost like the federal government, where they pay too much money? I mean, you know, not in a boat for $16, I don't think so. How about if the real price is 60 cents? Isn't insurance the same way? And can't we have individual policies of your own doctor, the ones that you want to see, who you've enjoyed over the years, but let them participate in your welfare? And I say, yes, you can do that. We must do it. And we must allow or notify our representatives that, look, we're tired of this stagnation, of the stalls, the delays, and we want a program that can go into effect immediately. Because eliminating Obamacare eliminates a great deal of debt. which can help us with the deficit. Well, people say you can probably save $1 trillion, or $1 billion, oh, it's $1, not even trillion, $1 billion in a 10-year period of time. Well, guess what, folks? That's not enough. That is not enough because we're passing it on to future generations. We need to take care of these things in an orderly fashion, and they can be done. We've been into these ditches before, and we know how to get out of them. So again, I want to remind you that it takes more than a few individuals to make things work. As you can see in the GOP, they control both houses of Congress, and yet they weren't able to gather enough signatures to make the vote work. So there's opposition there. But that opposition can be turned into positive action. And if we're able to do that, then people will cross the aisle to join in an acceptable program. Are you telling me that there's no program in the world that works? That's not true. It's up to us. We have the ingenuity. We have the technology. We have the means. And we can't be stopped by special interest, the medical profession, or others who would stand in the way of progress and health for Americans. Does that sound unreasonable? Isn't it America first? Isn't it Americans first? Should we not be taking care of ourselves first before we try to administer to other states and other countries? Of course. Can we cooperate with some of these countries? Yes. Oh, well, which ones? Well, that probably, is something that we need to ponder before we enter into discussions with them, because we've been turned around so many times by our friends that we sometimes hesitate to join with them. However, when you have a binding contract with someone, and it can be upheld by the world's courts, you have something else. And you have to look at the benefit that some of these countries would enjoy if they join forces with the United States, not only in our attempt to discover the correct health plan, but to fight ISIS and domestic and non-domestic terrorists. It's a big job. But we can't live with it. We cannot worry about getting shot going down to the mall. We've had almost 40 attacks here in the United States in the last couple of years. Here in the United States, and thousands of people have died as a result of that. We have people who were vetted, who had special clearances, who decided to be domestic terrorists. Yes, we've seen the turncoats. We've seen the oppression in other countries, Paris, London, even Russia. And it's time that we came together in order to combat those diseases, whether it happens to be ISIS or cancer. But the first thing to do is to know and understand, unlike Pelosi, who said, well, pass it and then we'll read the 10,000 pages. Oh, wait a minute, who's going to read the 10,000 pages? Well, first of all, it would take forever to read it. And the second thing is that even if you read it by reference to previous numbers or subtitles, you'd never be able to figure it out legally. What we need to do is we need to enact a simple plan. And that's why I talk about doing something with KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Keep it simple solutions. Keep it simple, stupid. Say it a few times in your head. Get it down. And make your representatives understand that we're not talking about brain science. We're talking about healthcare, and healthcare can be solved. Well, I didn't really know about Cobra. I mean, I had heard about it, but I never really paid too much attention to it until this crisis came up. And incidentally, it was quite accidental for me to come up with the program. But having done that, I was able to go ahead and read further on and say, well, wait a minute, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the one thing that is already the law in the United States, and it allows us to pick it up again, make amendments to it that are worthy, that are necessary, make amendments to it that cut the cost, that mandates certain actions be taken not only by patients, but by doctors, and of course, their families. I'm not talking about the physicians' families, I'm talking about the individual families who do provide a lot of care and consideration for their grandchildren. And by the same token, we have to look towards the future. None of us are living forever. Well, not in this world. And we don't really know what's going to happen to the other world if you're good enough to get there. But that's the same thing as good health. You get to stay alive as long as you have good health. So, if we want to go forward, if we want to make America strong again, we really need to come together. You know, I remember, yes, as a young child, the Second World War. Not the whole thing. I wasn't there for the whole thing. But the point is that I remember hearing on the radio, at that time we didn't have television for several years after the period of time that I was talking about, and worrying about the bombs and the number of people who were killed in action, and it was really deplorable. And as a child, I didn't really understand the consequences, but I kept hearing about them. And as long as we keep hearing about ISIS and other rogue nations who would like to destroy America and the American way of life, we have to worry about it. Is it just coming from the rogue nations? Not when it's coming from our legislatures. Not when they're trying to pull us apart instead of bringing us together. Not when they're considered liberals instead of conservatives, understanding that we live in a finite world and nothing is forever, whether it happens to be oil, food, water. And the great ship, the USS America, needs to be able to move through the waters and to move forward rather than backwards. But the problem with the great ship America is it has a limited carrying capacity. A limited carrying capacity. And you can determine what that limited carrying capacity is. And understand that just like a ship or the Titanic that sunk because it hit an iceberg. Our iceberg is the overpopulation of illegals in this nation who are sucking our country dry. It has to stop. And doing so is going to create millions of jobs for Americans. So 49 million people unemployed in the United States. How many of those people are on unemployment? Or, worse yet, disability, food stamps. All of those are expenses that are driving up our debt and our deficit. And at some point in time, we're going to run out of money. And if we don't work with some other countries to make that change, and we can, we're sunk. We'll be going down just like the Titanic. So, I'm not going to go too much into where we should best do that. Not today. Not today, because the main thing today, the 23rd of March, 2017, we have just found out that the Republican Party has not enough votes to get through the health program they have proposed. But the good part is that we have a program that can immediately take its place and immediately work. And before you naysayers say, oh no, oh it can't be, I heard about that, it's too expensive, so forth. There are times when we have to compromise and modify and do things to make them work. Just because your car ran out of gas doesn't mean it won't run again. Maybe it needs oil. Maybe it needs antifreeze. Maybe it needs somebody that knows how to drive. I can't tell you. But I can tell you this. As long as the American flag flies over this country, there will be those of us who will support it in its totality and bring it back into power again. We can be the first nation in the world to have this kingdom stay in place. And, you know, today, again, should be a reflection of history and of the people who have made it work. People like Ronald Reagan, people who had the insight and understanding that there needed to be something out there to help with the health care of America, who spent hundreds and hundreds of hours putting a program together that worked, that gave exactly what it promised, continuing coverage. And so I'm saying to you again today, while we are finishing the final touches on the new health program, we can eliminate Obamacare and still have the medical facilities that we need for good health. So I'm going to say again that it's time for us to come together. It's time for us to recognize that nobody's perfect. There's no perfect program, but we have to try to get very close to that program if we're going to survive. So again, this is Blu Laker. This is Radio Tribune in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I have sent out information about King Cobra, about removing Obama and putting together a plan that can be successful and, if nothing more, a temporary substitute for Obamacare and a fresh start on the new program. So today, you have the opportunity to do your own research. It's only 48 pages long. Just go into Cobra Insurance. or Cobra. The Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1985. Cobra is not a health insurance plan. It is a law. Have a great day. God bless. And we'll talk tomorrow if you'll come back. This is Blu Laker, Cobra, USA, and we emanate from Radio Tribune on 9th Street. You're welcome to come and join us and debate the issues of your life. Have a great day. Hello, Don.
How you doing? Yeah, April, this is Blu Laker, and I called the last couple of days, and I do need to talk to Tim about some cars that have been towed in by tow guys without my consent. These are cars over at Sherry Jack's property. I need to find out what's going on. Thank you.
Going next door for a few minutes.
I'll be here.
I'll leave the door open.